Hello, welcome to Matt Loves Eurovision. It's my Eurovision 2024 Top 37 countdown. It's place number 37. It's Israel, Eden Golan and Hurricane. Please do click on the subscribe button, ring that notification bell and like, share and comment below. So we kick off my 2024 countdown with what is probably my most controversial preview, and depending on how you feel, controversial placing as well. And indeed, perhaps the fact placing this at all within a top 37 goes against what some in the fandom would want, and indeed probably even more so some people from outside the fandom who would never even watch Eurovision under normal circumstances or would never watch Eurovision. However, I have kept Israel in my countdown, as it's a fact that they are at the contest, and I am not boycotting the contest. So this placement reflects both my my view of the song, but also how I feel towards the song specifically. Not, I should say, the country that it's from, but it's just how I feel about the song, and I'll explain that shortly. So just to the facts, Eden Golan, she is 20-year-old, born in Israel, but spent most of her childhood living in Russia, I think from about 6 till 18, I think. Her parents were born in what was then the Soviet Union, and she'd entered a couple of talent shows or musical shows in Russia, but the family returned to Israel when Russia invaded Ukraine, so they came back a couple of years ago to Israel. Now she won the TV show Rising Star, which is a route that I think most of the most recent Israeli entries have followed. Not all of them. Some I think Noah Carell I think she was internally selected, as far as I know, because she was quite a big star already. But it has been used for quite a few of the Israeli selections. They don't actually sing the Eurovision song, but it is the way to select the artist, and so they kind of sing various covers, etc., and get to a final. And so the song entry comes later, with the focus being very much on the singing and the performance side. And it really is the song Hurricane and the shenanigans behind the song that have put this in my last place this year. To be fair, it's a pretty bog standard X Factor style ballad or pop ballad, a couple of regular verses and choruses followed by kind of a big vocal surge in the latter part of the song. And for me, these kind of very formulaic songs don't usually cut it for me much at Eurovision now. It might be some exceptions sometimes, but I think I would almost have had this in my bottom 3 anyway, even with a strong vocal performance. But it has sunk to my last place, just because I don't have a great feeling about the song, and that's because this song was twice rejected by the EBU for the lyrics. They were deemed too political, inappropriate, and I think it's probably clear that the broadcaster took an active choice to make this entry quite, I suppose, for want of a better word, political. They went out of their way to make it so, and there was back and forth, and it was really only the intervention of, I think, the Israeli president that kind of forced Cannes to actually make concessions and got the song over the line in terms of changing the lyrics enough. And I think that just doesn't, irrespective of anything else, that's just not the way I think a broadcaster should go about things. And I think, sometimes the song, how I do my placement of songs, there are very few songs in this year's setup that I would say I dislike. There's a lot of things I respect, and I think when you get a song that you're not that keen on the kind of genre or just not that, don't have a great strong feeling about anyway, and then you add to it some of that backstory to it, this is why it has probably sunk to my last place. And it does make me feel quite negatively about the entry. So that's just to give you some context, and also just to be very clear, I'm not putting this last because of the country. So I'm trying to be just look at the songs and how I feel about the songs. Now, I have to say, none of this will make any difference to the qualification chances. It will almost certainly qualify. It's kind of sandwiched. It's, I think, 14th in the running order in its second semi-final, straight after Italy, which is an automatic qualifier, just in the running order, and before Norway, so quite a big favourite. However, I think there will be people who really want this to qualify, and they will vote for it a lot of times. And I think given the kind of fairly open nature of the semi-final, it will get through to the final. She's also an accomplished live singer. There's no doubt about that, and I think she will hit some impressive notes. And that last surge, I think, could be will have some people voting for it. So I think people just need not to be surprised when it qualifies for the final, and I think they certainly shouldn't react in a vile way. That is not the way to sort of conduct ourselves, in my view. I don't see this winning the contest. I just don't think it's just not strong that a song to win, even though it's been co-written by one of the writers of Toy, and even with a good vocal. But I would say that it is I don't think we'll be seeing this come last either. So it's just to sort of set where I think where things will go with this. But what do you think? I know it's a very, very, this is quite a controversial setup at the moment. There's a lot of noise going on, and I don't really want, I'm not really getting into kind of some of that wider stuff. There's a lot of stuff been happening. But what do you think? What do you think about the song? What do you think about its chances? Do let me know in the comments, and join me for the next in my top 37 countdown. Take care.